It turned out to be a major loss for West Indies in the third test against Australia. That was also the final test of the series against the Kangaroos here. Well, West Indies were blanked 3-0, but more importantly, in that pink ball test, West Indies were bundled out for 27, and that's basically one of the embarrassments that they had, apart from being whitewashed by the previous World Test Championship winner. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the numbers that were basically created and broken, the stats and the important records that were there in the 3-test series, specifically the pink ball test. Now 27, that was the total on which West Indies were basically bundled out here while chasing about 200 odd, which was set by Australia. Now this is basically West Indies' all-time low in the format, specifically in the test cricket, and this is also the second lowest score in the history of test cricket. They were about to break the lowest score there, which is basically held by New Zealand, 26 against England. That came way back in 1955, and West Indies at one point they were clearly in danger of basically occupying that #1 position, but that did not happen. They were 12 for 6, but then they managed 27, and now this is the second lowest total in the history of test cricket and the lowest for West Indies in their history as far as test cricket is concerned. Now Starc-Boland, he became the 10th Australian to take a hat-trick in a test match here, and he's also the first Australian since Peter Siddle to take a hat-trick. The last time Peter Siddle took a hat-trick was way back in Ashes 2010-2011. That was against England in Brisbane. And if we take a look at Mitchell Starc, who actually took a 5-4 in the second innings, he finished with the figures of 6 for 9. He went past Sri Lanka's Muthaiya Muralidharan. So basically Mitchell Starc took a 6-wicket haul in his 100th test match, and this is now the best figures by a bowler in their respective 100 test match. Muthaiya Muralidharan currently held that record before Mitchell Starc. He had taken 6 for 54 against Bangladesh. That came way back in 2006, but now Starc is the leader of this list. Now moving on, Starc also has one more record to his name here, the fastest 5-4 ever in the history of test cricket. He took a total of 5 wickets in just 15 balls, which is not even 3 overs. It's about 2.5 overs. And last but not the least, West Indies had about 7 ducks in their second innings when they were chasing that target. And for West Indies, it turned out to be the most ducks in an innings in their history in test cricket. And this is also an all-time record, keeping in mind all the nations who actually play test cricket. So for West Indies, the point is that in the last few years or so, they did have some kind of a resurgence when they beat Australia earlier in 2024 in that pink ball test, courtesy Shamar Joseph's brilliance, and they'd also beaten England in the last 6 to 7 years or so, twice in their home test matches. So for West Indies, whenever they have some kind of a resurgence, they also succumb to a low, which does basically merit a point that are they really rising in test cricket, or they are basically going about 2 steps down. So what do you think about West Indies in test cricket? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.